Hi everyone, my name is Sonia, developer program engineer at Shardeum. And today in this live stream, we are going to talk about JSON RPC APIs. So many decentralized platforms use JSON RPC APIs like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, Solana, and at Shardium also we use JSON RPC API too. Basically, JSON RPC API and Ethereum testnets, they are basically essential tools for building and testing the Ethereum-based applications. And as you all know, that Shardium is an EVM layer 1 blockchain platform. So, what's the agenda for today? Today, we are going to learn about what's the meaning of JSON RPC, some key methods and examples, what are its advantages, some practical use cases, and at the end, we will have one QA session. Feel free to ask me any questions that you have. So, starting with the introduction, what is JSON RPC? Let's break this into two parts. What is JSON and what is RPC? So JSON, basically it's a lightweight data interchange format, meaning it exists in the text form and it doesn't need to be compiled to be interpreted. It is very lightweight, which makes it suitable as a messaging format that can transfer data quickly. So JSON messages are readable by humans, which is helpful for developers who work with it. JSON functions, by breaking data, no matter how intricate, mapped into a manageable structure. This process basically makes it easy for multiple programming languages to process the data. And now, what does RPC means? RPC means remote procedure call. RPC is a very broad term that's used to describe a variety of API approaches, and it has been in use, since from a long time. And the use of RPC extend beyond the web applications, and that's what we are going to learn today. How JSON RPC is basically used in the blockchain ecosystem. Now we have learned about JSON and RPC. Now, what is JSON RPC? JSON RPC, that stands for JavaScript Object Notation Remote Procedure Call. So it's a lightweight protocol that is used to communicate with the Ethereum blockchain. It basically allows the developers to invoke the methods and the functions across a network using the JSON data. It's a very important tool for sending requests and receiving responses from the network, and in this case from the Shardium network. And the main idea behind JSON RPC is to enable a communication between a client and a server. So, whenever you are sending requests, there is one user and there is another sender. So we need something, any tool, any communication protocol, and here in this case, it's JSON RPC, so that we can send request and receive response from the network. So in this case, the client sends a request to the server that performs a specific function and they send back us a response. We will also see it with the help of an example. And here, the JSON part means that the data is encoded in the JSON format. That makes it easy to read and write for both machines as well as humans. And the RPC part, it refers here to the ability to execute functions or the methods on a remote server as if they are local. So, I hope this is clear what is JSON RPC. Let's see, one JSON RPC request. There are mainly four fields in RPC request. One is JSON RPC. This field, should be set to 2.0, specifying the JSON RPC version. And next we have, and next we have method. Basically, it's a string that contains the name of the method to be invoked. For example, ETH get balance, ETH send raw transaction, ETH get count by hash. There are so many methods. And the third is params. So here we will write all the parameter values that are necessary for invoking the method. For example, data, addresses, or any sort of transaction details. And at the end, we have an ID. So what is ID? It's basically an identifier to distinguish the request. Now, whenever you will send any JSON RPC request, you will have this basic structure. And now let's see how does a JSON RPC response looks like. So it will have the JSON RPC that shows the version of the JSON RPC, and it should match the request that we sent, that is 2.0. Result, this field contains the outcome of the method that we invoked. For example, let's suppose if we invoke the method ETH get balance, then you will see the balance of the Ethereum inside that particular address. And the third parameter, that is error, this is optional. If you get any error, this will provide you all the details about the error that got occurred. And at the end, we have an ID. This is the identifier that should match the ID of the corresponding request, the ID that we sent in the request. So this was a very basic structure of how does the JSON RPC request and response looks like. Now let's talk about how it's used in blockchain. Let's explore how JSON RPC is used in the blockchain space. In a blockchain network, nodes need to communicate with each other and also with the external applications. This is where the JSON RPC comes into play. So, for example, in many blockchain platforms like Ethereum, Bitcoin, the JSON RPC is a standard for interacting with the blockchain. Whenever you want to query the blockchain, send a transaction, or maybe interact with a smart contract, you often do it through JSON RPC. So consider this scenario that you have a blockchain node running and you want to check the balance of an address. Now what you're going to do is you're going to send a JSON RPC request to the node. The node is going to process this request. It's going to fetch the data from its local copy of the blockchain and it's going to send a response back. So this interaction, it's very important for the decentralized application, for the wallets, blockchain explorers. Without JSON RPC, it would be, very much harder for us to interact with the blockchain networks. So now let's see with the help of an example. I'm going to go to our docs. So recently we published our JSON RPC API docs. Here you can find all the methods that are supported by Shardeum. And if you see there is some method missing, feel free to invoke us or send us a request over the Discord that hey, this method is missing. So let's check any method. For example, okay, let's see this method ETH get transaction count. So what this method is doing, it's going to return the number of transactions sent from an address. So inside the parameter, to know the number of transactions sent, what we need to have in parameters. So these are the must-haves. First one is the address to check for the transaction count. I mean, we have to specify for which particular address we want to check the transaction count. And the second param is quantity or tag. Here you can add either the integer block number or string, latest, earliest, pending, safe, or finalized. So these are basically all the different sort of block parameters. I'm not going into detail, but so this is some sort one example of how does the request looks like. Let's suppose we are using curl. Here you have to add your RPC endpoint, and this is the format. Here is a method name. This is the param, for example, the address and latest ID, and there is JSON RPC ID. This is a very basic format of how does the example look like, and it's going to return you the result, which is going to be an integer that's going to specify the number of transactions that were sent from that address. And similarly, we have different methods for different purposes. Uh, so whenever you're going to send any request, the node is going to process that request, going to fetch the data from its local copy, and going to send you the response back. Uh, let's see one more example. For example, we have eat gas price. So whenever so what gas price is doing, it's going to return basically an average or estimate of the current gas price, and also whenever you're running any sort of RPC methods, make sure to know its units. If it's in V, or it's in ether, or it's in SHM. Make sure to read the documents properly. And also, Shardeum is built over Ethereum. If you don't find anything specific over here, make sure to check out the official Ethereum docs. um, and also you have our Discord. If you run into any issues, if something is unclear, feel free to ask the questions. So this was very basic of how does the JSON RPC examples look like. Now let's go back to our slides. Okay, so we have talked about what is JSON RPC, how does the JSON RPC works in blockchain space, and how does the request and response format looks like. Now let's see what are the benefits of using JSON RPC. So the first benefit is simple handling. When we compare it to the REST API, JSON RPC is quite simple. It's easy to understand for both humans as well as machines, because there is no such commands and data sets that confuse. This makes it, a good choice for the developers to use, and it's also, very common, and it can process data, featuring named phrases or specific keywords. And this is the code. It's very clean, and it's a very simple choice. So ultimately, it's developers prefer to go with JSON RPC instead of REST APIs. And the second benefit is quick development time. With JSON RPC, there is not that much brainstorming that's required. The resources are presented, in a very easy way. So it reduces the application development time, and also reduces the time to market factor. So it's the most preferred resource whenever one needs to develop applications in a timely crunch manner. And the third benefit is better information exchange. So JSON RPC, it gives us sort of a guarantee for timely, quick, and sure information exchanges, as it can handle notifications, multiple calls. It won't wait for responses from anyone, from server or any client to proceed further. If a message request is made, then it will take to its destination for sure, no matter how tedious the software components look like, how tedious software components are part of the communication. JSON RPC ensures the proper information exchange. Next, we have enhanced API performance with JSON RPC. APIs that are not dependent on the protocol deployed can be created. Such action has an added benefit to perk up the API performance, as it replaces HTTP with TCP, and it trims down the overhead. Explained results. JSON RPC provides self-explanatory request results that are understandable, and they are easy to process, making it easy for the batch requests. explaining all the HTTP body and carrying forward the parameters that are the other jobs that are basically way more simpler with the JSON RPC. And there is improved transmission. JSON RPC is a very transmission friendly tool as it supports multiple platforms like WebSockets, SSH, SCP. There is also XMPP. This separation promotes the development of quick, user friendly and easy to debug APIs. Also, this protocol keeps the requested content entirely proof from the transmission process used. Because of this, any request errors, any request data and warnings, they are going to be provided through the request payload. So these were overall the benefits of using JSON RPC. Uh, so to give you a conclusion, JSON RPC API are the backbone of communication between the blockchain nodes and the external applications. They are simple, lightweight, and they are highly effective for various use cases, from wallets to decentralized applications, and they are quite heavily used now in Bitcoin, in Ethereum, and in Shardeum too. I'm going to paste the link of the docs so that you have it. Okay. Okay, so I have pasted the link of the docs. Here you can find all the information about all the methods, all what are the parameters required, return, and there is also an example to tell you how does it look like. But in any case, if you still run into any issues, you have our channel, OSS channel. Feel free to ask any questions you have.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that wonderful presentation, Sonia. If anyone has any questions, I'm just going to look in the chat. Then, next, in 2 weeks, we're going to have, excuse me, we're going to have our next BIP stream, and that is going to be on just exploring the new validator dashboard that we're working on at the moment. Sonia and I are helping set that up, and by next week we're going to in 2 weeks. So we're going to schedule that event right away, and then in 2 weeks we're going to come back on the stream and we're going to walk you through all the the functionalities of the new validator dashboard. We want to get your thoughts on it. We want to see if you'd like us to change anything or make anything better. So that is part of the plan for the upcoming stream. And if there aren't any questions, I think we will end the stream here. I'm going to share the Power form in the open source channel. So if you're not there, please join us, and I'm going to put it in the chat. So join us in the open source channel. We're going to share that there, and we hope to, distribute the POAPs when we get a mainnet, and we hope to you join us again next week. Any closing thoughts from you, Sonia?
I think you have covered it all. I think thanks for joining. Looking forward to see you all around.
Awesome. All right. Thank you all for joining us, and we will see you again in 2 weeks. Bye, everyone.